Alright, so today we're doing another Hogwarts Legacy video, and today we are testing the claims that the latest patch that released on the 9th of March helps video cards with only 8GB of VRAM. It wasn't in the official patch notes, but I did see some tweets and some YouTube videos regarding that, so I just wanted to test it for myself. So in this system we've got an RX 5700 XT, which obviously is an 8GB VRAM GPU, and we've also got a 12400F CPU paired with 16GB of DDR4 3200 MHz CL16 memory. Right, so let's just go over the settings here. I'm actually starting us off very high here. I'm starting off at 4K, TIA high, and the quality settings are set to ultra. All right, so this won't probably give us a playable experience, but this is very good to test the VRAM usage. Also, if there's a lot of noise or wind noise or my voice is clipping, this GPU is an ex-mining GPU. It needs to be repasted, and I'll do a video on that in the coming week. And so if my voice does clip, it's because the noise cancellation is trying its best to drown out the fan noise. All right, with that said, let's go into the game here with the Perry Hotter. All right, so we'll be starting off at my regular location and just starting up the benchmark run here, just resetting the numbers quickly. You can see we're getting 21 frames per second, but just have a look at the VRAM usage there. You can see that it creeps up to about 8 gigs, and then it drops down immediately to about 7 gigs, right? Without any additional stuttering there, it dropped down to 6.5. So what I think what's happening here is the VRAM buffer gets full, and as it gets closer to its limit, some of the textures might be dumped or unloaded. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not a game developer. I'm not sure how they did it, but you can see here that we are clearing about 1 GB of VRAM as soon as it encroaches that 8GB buffer, and this is actually a very smooth experience. I mean, sure, it's 22 frames per second, but you shouldn't be playing like this. It's just an easy way to test whether we'll be running out of VRAM or not. Now, in my previous videos on the 6600 XT before this patch, we actually ran out of VRAM at 1440p on Ultra as well, and even at 1080p with ray tracing enabled. I don't have the 6600 XT on me at the moment to test, so I can't do a apples to apples comparison here. So we're not looking at the frame rate, so we're also not looking at the GPU temperatures. You can see it's already going into the 80s there, and then the clock speed drops. It actually does a pretty decent job at maintaining that 80 degrees Celsius, and the frame rate actually does not drop that much with the clock speed drop. You can see that drop down to 1600 megahertz, but the frame rate still stayed at about 20 frames per second. All right, so this does seem to look like the patch helped a lot with 8GB VRAM models. I'll do another video on an 8GB video card with ray tracing support, just to test the claims with ray tracing as well. But I believe the behavior should be the same. As you can see, the VRAM usage does creep up, and then it just drops down to below 7000 megabytes or 7 gigabytes of VRAM. Now, once again, that's VRAM allocated, not VRAM used, but it's just to give you a pretty good idea. All right, so now let's just try more realistic settings. This is not going to be a 5700 XT benchmark of Hogwarts Legacy. I just wanted to see whether we would run out of VRAM. That it's actually pretty clear. Once you start running out of VRAM, the game just becomes completely unplayable. On the 6600 XT, it dropped to as low as 1 frames per second. Well, there's no plural there, 1 frame per second, and it does seem to be not the case anymore. All right, so let's go down to 1440p. All right, and we're back at 1440p. You can see 1440p. Everything else is still exactly the same. We are still on the, if I can click it, on the Ultra preset, and no upscaling just yet. All right, let's just reset the numbers here. These shadows do seem broken. Not sure what would cast blocky shadows like that. Maybe the frame of the lamp, I don't know. Anyway, so this is at native 1440p. You can see we are getting above 60 frames per second. Once again, that VRAM usage is creeping up. It's sitting at about 7.6 gigabytes at the moment, but even at these settings with this resolution, once it gets close to 8 gigs, it'll actually clear some VRAM, and there you go, it drops down to 7 gigs again. So it does seem like the latest patch has improved the performance for 8 gigabyte GPUs quite a lot, which is very welcome to see. I'm not sure what the visual impact of that would be, because I do think that it is unloading textures or dumping textures, or maybe it's just things that it doesn't need in memory, so it's not actually visible on the screen. Whatever it does, I haven't tested it long enough to be able to see if there's actually any visual differences, but there doesn't seem to be, just from the half an hour or so that I've been testing it. So I've just got the 6600 XT performance numbers that I recorded a little while ago before the latest patch. And even though the performance is pretty much the same on the 6600 XT and the 5700 XT, just have a look at the VRAM usage there. You can see that the 6600 XT stays in the 7.8 gigabytes of VRAM usage continuously. It goes down to 7.6 maybe, but it doesn't really drop that much. So you can definitely see that the latest patch has actually improved the VRAM usage, if not the performance. I just wanted to note that during this run, it wasn't in the recording, but we eventually did run out of VRAM. This is at 1440p Ultra as well, the exact same settings. And when I actually played the game on these settings, I did run out of VRAM. So it doesn't seem to be like it would be the case with the latest patch. Alright, so at 1440p native, we're still not able to get 60 frames per second. I wanted to show you what settings to use to get to 60 frames per second. I think it'll be unnecessary though, because the GPU is thermal throttling, so this is not its true performance. The main purpose of this video was just to check the VRAM usage, not the actual performance. So I'll do a video on the performance before and after cleaning the GPU and repasting the GPU, so hit that subscribe button if you want to see that. Otherwise, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, and as always, we hope to see you in the next one.